Today we're checking out Iron Maiden's Coming Home. I just learned that about 5 minutes ago, so tread lightly, okay? I play 4 instruments. I don't claim to be a master at any of them. But we're not here to impress you with my chops. We're here to talk about theory. And I thought this song was really cool to the ear, so I thought let's take a look at it, right? So Coming Home by Iron Maiden is essentially in the key of G, but all of the starting notes of all of the phrases of that intro start with E. So we're pedaling each phrase with an E note as the first note. But what's really cool is as we go down this passage, we're actually touching on all of the chords in the key of G major from G down to A minor. So what's really cool about this riff is that it outlines all of the triads of the key of G major going from the octave downward to the 2 chord, and then of course finally back home to the G on the 1. But not only is that such an interesting thing for these guys to do, for anybody to do, but let alone a metal band, they're starting each of the chords with an open E string. So E is essentially the pedal tone to all the chords. So all the chords would be like G/E, F sharp diminished /E, A minor /E, whatever, right? So I'm just going to go through these one at a time for you. This is essentially the G major chord with an E in the bass. And then we have the F sharp diminished with E in the bass. And then we have the E minor with an E in the bass. And then we have D with E in the bass. And then we have the C. And then we have the B. And then we have the A. Right? So we've made it down from G, F sharp, E, D, C, B, and then finally A. So we're outlining all of the notes of the G major scale as triads. Technically, we're not outlining the full triad. We're outlining the root note and the third, whether it's a major third or minor third. And then, of course, we're pedaling that E as the first note of each chord. And what's really cool about using E, not only E because it's guitar and it's Maiden, but E is the relative minor of G, so they're kind of has that little bit of a connection there as well. So very cool section to learn, play, listen to, and of course analyze. So I hope that was insightful. We're going to move on to the actual chords now. I'm going to get my acoustic and we're going to take a look at it from that perspective. So I'll see you on the other side. All right, let's jump into the chords and analyze what's going on here. Now, as you guys probably know, Iron Maiden love the key of E minor. And a lot of times it just comes down to like E minor to D to C, and it's very, I don't want to say it's repetitive, but I mean, it's a formula that works and they use it way too often in my opinion. But this song, although it is an E minor, it kind of uses a slightly different pattern, and the way they move from section to section is really cool and very creative. It's got a great flow to it. So verse 1, we're starting off with E minor as the 1 chord, and then we go to G, which is the 3 chord, and then we go to A minor, which is the 4 chord, and then we have C add 9, which is the 6 chord, at which point we're right back to E minor. So you establish with the E minor, you get a slight lift with the G, a little bit of movement with the A, and then that C add 9 really ramps up the movement almost as high as we can go in the scale, and then we're right back down to the E minor. And that continues for another half verse. By the end of that verse, we jump into a D chord. Now that D chord, although it's part of the key of E minor, it feels so fresh and different. It's just a breath of new life into the song. And this is going to be the transition chord that just goes straight into the pre-chorus. And like I said, it's the 7 chord in the key of E minor, so we're still diatonically correct here. But now our focus for that pre-chorus is going to be more on the D as the tonic, and I don't feel like this is an example of modal interchange or a tonal shift necessarily. We're just giving more emphasis to that D because now we are abruptly jumping into the pre-chorus. So that D goes to C, and then E minor, and then G, D, and then C, and then E minor. So the rhythm is not exact there, but so that D is the 7, the C is the 6, the E minor is the 1, the G is the 3. So same chords, but a slightly different order. And because this is, honestly, a lot of Maiden stuff is more about the vocal harmony than anything. I mean, they have some great riffs and great sections, but a song like this is almost more of a pop song than a metal tune, for what it's worth. So from there, we drop down to the chorus itself, and it's kind of more of the same. The chorus this time, however, starts on a C, which is the 6th chord, and then goes to the D, and then the E minor is the 1, and the G is the 3. So we start the verse on E minor, which is the 1 chord. We jump abruptly to D for the pre-chorus, which is the 7, and then for the chorus itself, we're in C as the starting note. We're not in the key of C, but we're starting on the 6th chord, C. It gives it kind of movement within the key. Because it's the shift in section, it adds more weight to it, right? This is a really sweet song, and I enjoy the hell out of listening to this one. I would love to hear them do like an uncovered version of it. I think that would be so sweet. Iron Maiden uncovered. Oh my god. I would love to hear these guys do an unplugged version of the song. Can you imagine Iron Maiden, MTV in the 90s doing unplugged? That would be so sick. Bruce Dickinson can handle any situation. So there you have it, guys. Coming Home by Iron Maiden, harmonic analysis. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.